Kassy with Kassy's Parlour and Grafix. We are going to make a super awesome paintbrush holder using Grafix Dura-Lar wet media film and two-sided matte film along with some canvas fabric, and we're going to do some sewing and some painting and a whole bunch of awesome stuff. So let me just get the space set up here. I've got, this is the layout, so I have pre-measured and decided on the size. Now if you're making this, you really do need, unless you're just making a basic one to just fit any brushes, you could follow my dimensions, which I will give you, but really I wanted mine tailored for these specific brushes. These are my good watercolor brushes, and right now they're just kind of out and I really don't want them to get ruined. I have taken time to pick them out individually. I'm really loving watercolor painting, and so I just wanted to make a special case just for these. So as you can see, you know, I have them all, so all like lined up at the bottom here, and you can see they're different heights and different widths, and some are really fat and chunky and some are super skinny and short. So I really have taken the time to think about, you know, how big and how tall and all that it needs to be. Now if you have specific brushes, I would say to make your own dimensions. You can still make the same thing that we're gonna do here, but if you just wanna make one for general brushes or whatever, and you're not sure what you're you know, how many or what brushes you're gonna put in it yet, then absolutely follow my instructions. So overall, my the width of my bag is going to be, or wrap I guess, is going to be 9.5. I cut 10 inches across because we're going to fold the ends in and sew them. But here, I'll show you as we're going here. Let me see, let me put this here so you can still kind of see it. So this is what it's going to look like. And this is how it's going to lay out. And I, of course, will walk us through each of these steps. So this is the top piece. And this is 10 by 5.5. So if you're looking at my picture here, this first is the first part of the canvas that'll be at the top, and I'm going sideways like this because it's long. Okay, then we have the wet media Dura-Lar here, and I have the tissue behind it just so I can see it because it's clear, so it's hard to see. Now notice this is only 9 inches wide because I'm not going to fold this over to sew the seam. I'm going to fold this over it so that it's protected, and we'll just sew right down the edge there and it'll be just fine. Then I have a 13-inch long piece of canvas, okay? And if I open this up, you'll see this is 13 inches long, 10 inches wide. I folded it in half, if I can show you here, and then I just measured with a ruler and marked with a pencil each of the lines that I have. These are the lines I have to sew to make each individual pocket so that my brushes will fit inside of them. And so again, I've made them different widths based on the size of the brush. Okay, so that's that. And so I think I have the first two are 1 1/4, then I have 3 that are 1 inch, then I have 2 that are 3/4 of an inch, and then I have 4 that are 1/2 inch. And I believe that's how it worked out. So I think I'll have 10 spaces when I'm done. Okay, and then I have one last piece right here. This is matte Dura-Lar, and it's 9 by 3.5, and once this pocket is sewn together for my brushes, I am going to line this up here and just sew right down the middle. And this is going to be like an extra little pocket that I could put little papers or little sample things or whatever, just having extra pockets in here for something fun or special. So before we sew any of this together, let me move this out of the way. I've got all of these awesome pieces, but I don't want just a plain old you know, holder, brush holder. I of course need to decorate it. This is canvas fabric. Just, you could use any kind of fabric. That's fine. I'm going to use a big gel plate. I've got a big one here because I want to be able to do a lot of stuff at once. So I've got a nice big gel plate to work on. I've got a couple pieces that are pretty big. I just want to be able to work on them quickly, you know, and make some interesting patterns and things. I'll be covering both sides because you'll see both sides of the fabric. And then, well, actually this one will only see the one side, the side that I've drawn the lines on. This will be on the inside, so I don't really need to do anything here, but I will do the outside of this piece, and then both sides of the flap that's gonna fold over, and then these pieces I'm gonna do specific things to. This clear one, you'll see when we're putting it together, but this, I wanted this to be clear and sit where it sits so that when it's all rolled up, I can see what brushes I have in there. So I think that's gonna be really cool. Anyway, let's just move on and get to it. I wanna keep it mostly light and bright. I've got some fun, just bright colors here. So let's just start putting some color down and playing. This is probably my favorite part, is just playing on the gel plate. So I've got all different colors of paint and brands. But I'm using all acrylic paint. Some of it is actually colored gesso from Jane Davenport, excuse me. Notice how this is beading up. That's interesting. I love it sometimes when the paint just kind of goes randomly here and there. That's pretty fun. Okay, so if you've never used a gel plate before, I'll just walk through what I'm doing. But I definitely highly recommend it. This is some of the colored gesso that I have. The other stuff was distress paint. So I just like to mix a couple different colors and sort of get started that way. And then you can let it be like funky, you know, in dots like that. You can make it go all the way across and cover it completely. It's totally up to you. Let's see. I think I'm going to do my first pull here and just play and see what we get. So I'm just going to use some of my fabric. Okay. I think I will. Ooh. All right. That's very light. So we're just going to keep playing and seeing what we get. Now remember, this one is going to have stuff on both sides, and I think I'm going to layer this way. Roll that out. That's a great color. Okay. And then I think I want to use one of my stencils. This is my Sacred Circle stencil, and I've got some scrap paper here. So I just want to pull that pattern through. Nice, there we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here. So I just have that pattern repeating a little bit, not perfectly of course, but doesn't matter. This is really not, I mean, when you're using the gel plate like this, it's never really about being perfect or particular. It's just about having fun and kind of going with the flow here. So now I want to pull this up. So notice how instead of building all the layers on the gel plate and then pulling it once, I'm building up each layer individually onto this paper, or I'm sorry, onto the fabric. Okay, and I'm just kind of pressing. I'm not moving too much. This fabric doesn't want to like cling to the press as much as paper does, and I'm afraid of it kind of moving around and getting blurred. So I'm just gonna, oh yeah, look at that. How pretty is that? Yay, I love it. It looks great. This is cool because you can see through it kind of. This is the matte Dura-Lar, okay? So it almost looks like vellum if you've never used it before. It's very silky and smooth to the touch, but it's not vellum. Definitely not vellum. It is so much more than that, but it just has the look of vellum because it has that translucence. Look at this. I am loving this. Matte Media Dura-Lar is wonderful on the gel plate. You get so many textures and things going on. This stencil again, because it is, I like the way it looks, and it's a nice pattern, and it's easy to see, and it's simple, which works well for what we're doing here. But instead, this time I am going through the stencil and then lifting. Let's see what we get this way, and I'll stick it down, get the opposite on this side. Okay, see if we, oh yeah, that looks so cool, doesn't it? Okay, and then we will put it down here and do the same thing. Okay, and put it all over so we get the stenciled piece. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then flip it over so we get the negative of that. All right, here we go. Perfect, so cool. Now this one is beading up a bit. It's okay, it's gonna look cool when it is ready. All right, so next we're gonna pull this and then do another layer instead of waiting. So let's just stick this right down on top of it. And I'm just from the center gonna push out gently side to side and let it sort of sit for a second so it can really pull up all of that paint. Ooh, some blue is shining through. Maybe, look at my hands. All right. Trying not to move the fabric so it doesn't get blurry or anything. All right, let's see what we get. Very cool. So even though it was starting to pill up, I still got good patterns here and it looks really cool. So this time I'll do the opposite and I'm just gonna put pink, whoa, all over. That was a lot. All right, pink all over. This is really why I love using the big one, because I can just get it all done in one go here. I love that that blue pattern is poking through a little bit. So cool. Okay. I do also try to clean my brayer as much as I can so that you don't have as much to clean off later. Okay, I'm gonna use this stamp. It's got a bunch of circles on it instead of doing stencil. And I'm just gonna set it down, just press into the gel plate. Whew, lift it out. And then I actually am going to put some of this onto, I'm running out of room here, putting it onto the clear, the wet media Dura-Lar. But I really just want it to be here and there. Here, let's do this border along the bottom. Okay. Don't want to waste this paint, that's for sure. I'm gonna go everywhere. And I'm just gonna border this wet media Dura-Lar with these circles. I think it looks cool, and I'd like to leave the center clear. So now you can see this wet media Dura-Lar. I'm leaving the tissue on it for now, but it just has those cool circles all on the top and the bottom. So that's gonna be amazing. This is really, really cool. I'm excited. So let's just try and pull it like it is. I think the paint is still wet enough that we might be able to get something out of this. All right, let's see. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Okay, here we go. So we can still see the blue behind it, but I love all these pink dots. And remember, this is gonna be folded up and all kinds of crazy, so it's gonna be just fine. All right, so let's sit this aside to dry. Any kind of solvent or usually hybrid ink should work on here. Oh, actually, this is matte Dura-Lar, so you can use really any ink here. Solvent ink will dry faster, but any ink will work. I'm trying not to press down too hard, but I want to be firm enough to get all the letters. Ah, that looks amazing. Yay! I love it. And let's do this one as well. I like both of the sayings, and I couldn't decide, so we're gonna just have both of them. Why not? Matte Dura-Lar has got to be my favorite material in the world, because it's like you can put paint or ink or you know, you can stamp on it, you can draw on it, you can do all sorts of things, and it just looks amazing every time. Look at that. Look at how crisp those words are on there. This is so cool, and you can kind of see through it. It's just awesome. So I am in love with this. Okay, so I have all of the elements ready to go. I've put artwork on them. I've used different media supplies, mixed media supplies. As we've gone through, added a few extra little things here and there, and really just finished designing the fabric. This is like the best part, right? You get to do whatever you want. So super cool. So all the parts are here, and we're just gonna start putting it together. So the first thing I wanna do is stitch all of the length pieces together. So this is, you can see the lines here. This is where the brushes will go. So this is gonna fold over, and I'll sew that all together, and the brushes will fit in there. So then, since this is the top, okay, so this is my clear piece now, okay, so I'm going to put that, I'm gonna I'm gonna sew, I'm gonna sew this onto here, okay, in the middle. And I made the fabric a little bit wider on each side than this piece of paper, this wet media Dura-Lar, excuse me, so that I can fold it over when I'm sewing, so I don't have the raw edges, okay? So I did that. So let's sew this part. So I'm just gonna start sewing, and I'll explain what each piece is as we go. I think that'll be the easiest way to do it. Okay, so let's bring up the sewing machine. This is a We Are Stitch Happy, We Are Memory Keepers Stitch Happy machine. And it's on and ready to go. Now for these pieces that are gonna go across that are stitching different types of things together, I'm using a zigzag stitch, okay? And it's the larger of the two. So whatever sewing machine you're using will be fine. And any kind of zigzag stitch will work just fine. So, you know, there's not a lot of rules here. Like really, you wanna have at least 1/4 inch, because that's just general rule for sewing in general. But honestly, this is your own little creation. You get to do it however you want. And I can't really put pins in here because it's plastic, right? So I'm just going to make sure it's fairly straight and lined up. Leaving that little bit of gap, like I said in the beginning, so that I can fold that over later. And then I'm going to put the foot down and start sewing. I'm going to go slow at first just to make sure everything is good to go. There we go. It's all lined up. I'm sewing on the fabric and the wet media Dura-Lar, keeping it all nice and straight. And I'm just stopping here and there just to make sure I'm still kind of straight and things are looking good. There we go. So there's our first piece. The main thing I want to show you here is that you can sew on the wet media Dura-Lar and the matte Dura-Lar, really any of the plastic sheets. You can sew on them. So you can make tags, you can do all sorts of things. Really, really fun and exciting. Okay, so the next piece, if I put this way up here, we're gonna do is the top flap. So this part, actually, I'll just move this out of the way again. So the next thing is this piece. So this is going to be the part that's gonna like fold over once it's all put together. I'm gonna hold it straight with my hand since I can't really use pins here, no biggie. All right, so now this is going to come over, and you see this is my fold over part. This helps to protect the paints that are in there, and then we roll it up. You see that's, so it's coming together. Okay, so before I actually start sewing these lines, I do want to fold in the sides of this and then sew this here so that we're protecting this, sort of keeping it in place and tucked in there, and those sides are neat and tucked in. Okay, so what I did here is just used this as a guide and folded this over and just pressed it with my fingers, and because there's so much paint on here, it's kind of stiffened up the canvas fabric on its own, so it's kind of staying, but you could definitely press it with an iron or something. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. Okay. And definitely doesn't need to be perfect, just pressing it in with my fingers. Okay, and then because I don't want to stitch it here and then fold it and stitch it again, it's going to be too bulky. So I'm just going to fold it pressed but not sewn. And again, this is just my way of doing it. If you have a different, better way, then do that for sure. You get to make this totally your own, and you get to make it as neat or as messy or whatever you know, whatever works for you. This is what works for me. So, okay, so now I'm ready. You see both of my sides are pressed. So I'm going to start. Okay, I just want to move this back really quick and show you the progress. So this is amazing. I love it so much. I love the little stitching on the side. Look at how cute this is. I can't wait. I think I might like to do a stitch around this edge just for fun, because it looks so pretty. I love this zigzag pattern. And you know, it will help keep those edges, since I'm leaving them raw, it'll help keep them in place better too. So actually, I'm going to do that really quick. I just want to show you each step because it's so darling, I can't help myself. Look at this. This is the outside of it, and look at this cute stitch all the way around. Look at, it's not even perfectly straight here, and I love it even more. It's just so cute. I think I will get some glue or something along this edge just to make sure it doesn't you know, fall off any more, but it is looking good. Okay, so now I'm going to do straight stitch on these pockets, and then we'll add our front pocket and be done. Okay, I've gotten to the middle line, and this is where I need to add this pocket. So I'm going to add the pocket while I sew this on here and just line those two pieces up, and then I'll worry about the edges at the end. All right, so here we are. I have sewn all of the pieces together. I've sewn the pockets in. And I did actually go and add a little bit of glue. Whoops, it's stuck there. To the edges of the frayed areas and to all the points where there was a start or stop in the stitching. In all those areas, just to make sure that the stitch isn't going to come out or that the fray isn't going to fray more. So I did that and let it dry off camera. But this is what it looks like. Super cute. So much fun color, so many fun colors and patterns. You can do anything you want to yours. I love this clear piece in the middle. So now the last thing to do before I put my paints in it is to add the wrap part so I can tie it. So I've got this really pretty sari yarn. Okay, and so I had this beginning. Oh, here it is. Okay. I had the beginning and then I thought I lost it. So I'm just going to cut a piece off. It doesn't really need to be too much bigger. You know, maybe I would say like 1.5 to 2 widths of this, because you want it to wrap and you want to be able to tie a little bow or something. So 2, I think I'll do 2. That should be good enough. And we'll just see. Okay, so that's all we need there. And I just really like this because it's got a lot of different colors, and it's just kind of, you know, distressy and messy, kind of like my project, and it all just kind of goes together and suits my personality and my style. So I'm going to flip this over. I want to sew it on one side or the other. Whichever way you think you're going to be rolling it, you want the outside edge of the roll to be where you sew your piece on. And then I would kind of sew it so that it's, let's see, here's the center of my ribbon. It's really thin in that section, so I'm going to go over a tiny bit where there's a thicker piece here, but I'm just going to sew it right here on the end. So I'm using bookbinding waxed thread. This is really, really nice color, and it's strong and durable. I'm using this because I'm going to hand sew this on, and it's it's pink and it's pretty, of course, but it also is going to be really durable and strong. It's not going to go anywhere. So I'm just threading my needle here. It's nice and easy too when you have the wax thread to do this because it's so stiff. It's very nice. Okay, so but you really could use like any kind of thread or embroidery thread. You could sew it on a sewing machine, whatever you want to do, and you don't really need a lot. Then I'm going to go from the inside, and the thing is, so I'm putting it right here, you know, we want to go from the inside of the pocket here. We don't want that to show through, and I want to go right in that last slot. So I'm just gonna let my needle go out where it wants, kind of in that general area, and then I'm gonna start from there. Okay, so pull this through first. There's our little stopper, and then I'm gonna find the spot I want here. I love this. I love the quirkiness and the whimsy of this this bag. It's so cute. It's exactly what I was hoping for, so I'm really happy. So now when I'm doing this, instead of going through and flipping and going back through every time, I'm just going to go on the other side of this yarn, okay? So making sure this is kind of lined up with where that where this piece came through. I'm going on the other side of it. You might want a bobbin on your finger, or I mean a thimble on your finger, to make sure you don't poke yourself, but I'm just gonna come back through again. So I'm doing like a little loop stitch. I don't know what the official word is, but that's what I'm calling it. You just need a few of these because it's just a piece of yarn. Here we go. Like I said, this is pretty thick thread as well, so no big deal. So now I'm going to go back over one more time and go through just the middle. If you can see there, where I started, okay? So now my end will be underneath here so you won't see it. And I'm just gonna, I mean, look at, I didn't even need that much thread. I'll use this for something else though. I definitely won't waste it. So now I'm just gonna make a knot and I'm gonna push it down there, and then it will not go anywhere. And look how easy that was. But now we've got a nice string or yarn here to tie it all together, and it's really gonna not go anywhere. Okay, so now the moment has come. I'm so excited. This has been quite a process, but I really have had so much fun. I hope you've had fun watching this video, and I hope that you make your own, because man, it's really satisfying to have your own art supply you know, containers that you've made yourself. I just think it's super cool. So I'm putting all of my brushes in here. These are my special watercolor brushes. You could do another one of these for oils or acrylics or whatever kind of brush collection you have. I think that would be amazing. So I'm going from thickest barrel to thinnest barrel, and I even have one extra, maybe if I have a pencil that I like to use when I'm sketching, you know, whatever I'm going to paint for my watercolors. So there we go. You've got the little pockets. If you have little paper or ephemera pieces or things you like to use with your watercolor, they could go in here. Plus it's just really adorable. So next you're going to, I'm going to put this sideways so you can see it better. Look at all the brushes. How pretty is that? I'm so excited. This flap folds over so that it protects the bristles, so when you roll it up, they're not banging into each other or anything else. And then I'm just gonna start folding or start rolling. Look at, you can see the brushes through the clear piece. This is very exciting. And I just have to push these down because it's plastic, you know, but it's still really fun and cute. Okay, there we go. So now I'm gonna wrap my yarn around here and tie it. And now this can go in my travel bag. I often travel with art supplies when I go somewhere, and well, I always travel with art supplies, honestly, whether it's in my purse or in a separate art bag that I bring with me. I just can't go anywhere without having a little bit of something. So now I can bring my good watercolor brushes, and look at how nice you can see all of them, most of them. Some of them are hidden there, but I can at least see, oh, these are my watercolor brushes, and oh, yep, I have all of them, or one was missing or whatever. Super cute. I love the pattern on here. It's just so much fun and so adorable. So there we go. This is my watercolor brush holder, and I'm going to reopen it so you can see all the prettiness inside. I hope that you enjoyed this project and maybe found some inspiration to make your own brush holder, and know that you can sew with all of the Grafix plastic sheets. So we used the matte Dura-Lar and the wet media Dura-Lar, but you definitely could do it with any of their other opaque craft plastic or anything like that. So definitely sews really well and is fun and easy to use. Thanks so much for watching. For more inspiration, please visit graphicarts.com and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.